Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Deep Dive. Today, we're going to be diving deep into something that's been kind of blowing up online, Ikaria Lean Belly Juice.
Oh, yeah. You've probably seen the ads, maybe heard people talking about it, but we're going to be doing something a little different today. We've got an in-depth review from a certified nutritionist.
And she actually used the product for 90 days?
Exactly. It's not just about what the company claims, but what really happened when someone actually used it consistently for 3 months.
Going to be fascinating.
Okay.
And our expert is Sarah Mitchell. Welcome to the Deep Dive, Sarah.
Thanks for having me. Excited to be here and to share my experience with Ikaria Lean Belly Juice and answer any questions you guys might have.
Well, to start, I know you have a master's in nutrition science from Cornell and certifications from ACE and NASM.
Right.
And you've been in the health and wellness world for over a decade now. So
Yeah.
you're not just approaching this casually. You're coming at it from a scientific perspective.
Absolutely. And I actually want to mention, before we get too far, that I'm working with topsecretreviews.com, and they've got a special discount on Ikaria Lean Belly Juice for our listeners.
Oh, wow, that's great.
Yeah, you can find the link in the show notes.
Awesome. Okay, so let's talk about your journey with this, Sarah.
Right.
One of the things I'm so curious about is that you're a nutrition expert, right? You know all the ins and outs of
Yeah.
weight loss.
Yeah.
But you were still struggling with those last few pounds. It's something so many people can relate to. What was going on there?
It was really frustrating, especially during the pandemic. I felt like my metabolism just completely stalled.
Ugh, I feel you.
I was eating healthy, I was exercising regularly, tried intermittent fasting, even tried those HIIT workouts.
Yeah,
But those last 5 pounds just wouldn't budge.
that's the worst. When you're doing all the right things but not seeing results, it can be so demoralizing.
Exactly. And honestly, it made me start questioning everything. Like if I, a nutritionist, was struggling with this, where hope was there for everyone else?
Yeah. Right. And that's where Ikaria Lean Belly Juice comes in.
Hmm.
So what was it about this product specifically that caught your attention? I mean, there are tons of weight loss supplements out there, but something about this one made you think, okay, I'm willing to try this. So what was it?
Well, there were a few things. First, the approach to weight loss was different from anything I'd seen before. Ikaria focuses on regulating ceramides, these tiny lipids that can prevent your body from burning fat effectively.
Wait, so it's not just about suppressing your appetite or like boosting your metabolism?
Nope.
It's about addressing something deeper, a root cause almost.
Exactly. And for me as a nutritionist, that was a big deal. I was really intrigued by the idea of tackling a root cause of weight gain instead of just masking the symptoms.
That's fascinating.
Hmm.
I have to admit, I'm not super familiar with ceramides. Could you break that down a bit more for our listeners?
Sure. So imagine your cells have these little doorways that let fat in to be burned for energy. Ceramides are like tiny bouncers blocking those doors. And Ikaria Lean Belly Juice aims to retrain those bouncers to let the fat in and get burned.
I love that analogy. So it's like Ikaria is helping your body work with its natural fat burning processes.
Exactly. And the second thing that intrigued me was Ikaria's connection to the Greek island of Ikaria. It's one of those blue zones places where people live incredibly long, healthy lives.
Right.
Ikaria Lean Belly Juice is kind of inspired by the dietary habits and lifestyle of the people on Ikaria.
Okay, so we're not just talking about a random supplement concocted in a lab. There's a real-world connection to a population known for its health and longevity.
Exactly. Like the people of Ikaria eat a lot of wild greens and herbs, which are known for their anti-inflammatory properties. And Ikaria Lean Belly Juice includes some of these ingredients too, like dandelion and milk thistle.
Wow, I love that. It's like bringing those ancient wisdom traditions into a modern solution.
Yeah. And the third element that got me interested was Ikaria's emphasis on overall metabolic health. It's not just about weight loss, but about improving energy levels, sleep, quality blood sugar, all these things that contribute to a healthier
There's a more of a holistic approach to well-being.
Precisely. And that resonated with me because as a nutritionist, I know sustainable weight loss is about so much more than just shedding pounds. It's about building a healthy lifestyle that you can maintain long term.
I love that. It's about feeling good from the inside out.
Absolutely. And that was a big part of the appeal of Ikaria Lean Belly Juice for me. It felt like a way to support my overall health and well-being, not just target one specific problem.
So you were intrigued by the approach, the connection to the blue zone lifestyle, and that holistic focus on metabolic health. You were ready to give it a go, right?
Almost. Before I actually tried Ikaria Lean Belly Juice, I did what any good scientist would do. I dove into the research. I spent weeks analyzing the ingredients, reading clinical studies, checking the manufacturing standards, poring over user reviews, even considering potential interactions.
Wow. You were really determined to separate the hype from the reality.
Absolutely. I think that's so important with any supplement, especially one making big promises. You need to do your due diligence, make sure it's safe, effective, and right for you.
Well, we're glad you did, Sarah, because that's why we trust you and your review.
Yeah.
You're not just hopping on a bandwagon. You're coming at it with a critical eye.
Exactly. And I gotta say, the more I researched, the more impressed I became. The science behind Ikaria Lean Belly Juice is solid. The ingredients are natural and well-sourced, and the user reviews were overwhelmingly positive. I was starting to feel really good about giving it a try.
Okay, so you did your homework and you were convinced enough to actually try it.
Yeah.
But before we jump into your experience, I want to remind our listeners about the special discount available from our sponsor, TopSecretReviews.com. The link is in the show notes, and it's a fantastic way to save some money if you're thinking about trying Ikaria Lean Belly Juice for yourself. Okay, Sarah, back to you. Tell us what happened.
Well, I started my 90-day journey with Ikaria Lean Belly Juice back in September of 2023. I took it every morning mixed with a glass of water, just as they recommend. I was a little nervous, honestly, because I've had some bad experiences with supplements in the past. You know, jitters, upset stomach, that kind of thing.
I totally get it. I think we've all been there with those kinds of supplements.
Right. So I was pleasantly surprised. The taste was surprisingly good, kind of like a mild tropical drink. And I didn't experience any of those negative side effects I was worried about.
Really?
Yeah, in fact, within the first few days, I actually started noticing some positive changes.
Like what?
Well, the first thing I noticed was an increase in energy. And it wasn't that jittery, wired kind of energy you get from caffeine. It was more like a calm, focused energy that lasted throughout the day.
Interesting. I'm always struggling with that afternoon slump, so I'm intrigued.
Yeah, the afternoon slump was gone. And I also started sleeping better. I've always been a light sleeper, but after a week or so on Ikaria, I was waking up feeling more rested and refreshed. I even started tracking my sleep with my Oura ring, and the data showed a big improvement in my deep sleep.
Wow. So even in those early stages, you were seeing benefits beyond weight loss.
Exactly. And honestly, the weight loss came a bit later.
Huh.
In the first week, I didn't see much change on the scale, but by the second week, I was down about 3.5 pounds.
Okay, so not a huge drop right away, but a steady decrease.
Right. And what was even more exciting was that I didn't feel like I was depriving myself or like white-knuckling my way through a crazy diet, you know? I was still eating healthy, but I didn't feel hungry or deprived.
That's so important. So many weight loss solutions focus on restriction and willpower, which is just not sustainable.
Totally agree. And that's another reason I was so drawn to Ikaria Lean Belly Juice. It felt like it was working with my body, not against it. It wasn't about forcing myself to eat less. It was about supporting my body's natural processes.
Okay, so you were feeling more energized, sleeping better, and starting to see the numbers on the scale go down. What happened next?
Well, by the end of the first month, things really started to take off. I'd lost a total of 11 pounds. My waist had shrunk by 2 inches, and my clothes were fitting looser.
Wow. That's incredible. And you were still feeling good? No negative side effects?
None whatsoever. In fact, I was feeling better than ever. My energy levels were consistently high. I was sleeping soundly, and I just felt lighter, both physically and mentally.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm officially hooked. We're going to keep going with this after a quick word from our sponsors.
Great.
And don't forget, if you're interested in trying Ikaria Lean Belly Juice, we've got that special discount link from our sponsor, TopSecretReviews.com. You can find it in our show notes. We'll be right back.
Welcome back. I'm excited to dive a little deeper into my experience with Ikaria Lean Belly Juice and share some of the science behind it all.
Yeah, before the break, you mentioned losing 11 pounds in that first month. For people who haven't struggled with weight, that might not sound like much. But for those of us who have, it's huge EE.
It really is. And for me, it was more than just the number on the scale. It was about, feeling good in my clothes again, having more energy, just feeling lighter overall.
You mentioned that Ikaria focuses on ceramide regulation, and you gave us that great analogy with the bouncers blocking the doors to fat burning. But I'm curious, what's the actual science behind that? How does it work on a cellular level?
Okay, so Ikaria Lean Belly Juice has this star ingredient called Fucoxanthin. It's a carotenoid found in brown seaweed. You've probably heard of antioxidants, right?
Of course. They're like the superheroes of the nutrition world, fighting off those nasty free radicals.
Exactly. But Fucoxanthin goes beyond just being an antioxidant. It actually targets something called mitochondrial uncoupling. Have you ever heard of that?
Vaguely. It rings a bell from my biology classes way back when, but I honestly couldn't explain it to you right now.
No worries, it's pretty complex stuff. Think of it this way. Your mitochondria are like the tiny powerhouses inside your cells that burn fat for energy.
Right.
Imagine them as little engines.
Okay, I'm picturing tiny engines chugging away, burning fat for fuel.
Perfect. Now, fucoxanthin is like adding a turbocharger to those engines. It makes them more efficient at burning fat, so you get more energy and less fat storage.
I love that analogy. You're breaking down these complex scientific concepts into something we can all understand.
That's what I aim for. I believe everyone should have access to this knowledge so they can make informed decisions about their health.
Well, you're doing a great job. Now, I know Fucoxanthin is the star player, but what about the other ingredients in Ikaria Lean Belly Juice? You mentioned dandelion and milk thistle earlier. What do those do?
Icaria has this whole supporting cast of ingredients that work together to optimize your metabolic health. Dandelion, for example, is a natural diuretic, meaning it helps flush out excess water and toxins.
Okay, so that could explain some of that initial weight loss you experienced. It wasn't all fat loss. Some of it was just getting rid of that excess water weight.
Exactly. And milk thistle is amazing for liver support. Your liver plays a crucial role in detoxification and fat metabolism.
So by supporting your liver, you're indirectly supporting your body's ability to burn fat more efficiently.
Precisely. And there's Panax Ginseng, which helps boost energy levels and reduce stress. And EGCG from green tea, which is a powerful antioxidant that also supports fat oxidation. And citrus pectin, which aids in detoxification and can help curb those cravings.
Wow.
All these ingredients work together synergistically to create a comprehensive approach to weight loss and metabolic health.
It sounds like they really thought about creating a formula that addresses multiple aspects of weight loss, not just one isolated thing.
They did. And I think that's what sets Ikaria Lean Belly Juice apart from so many other supplements out there. It's not just a quick fix. It's a solution designed to support your body's natural processes and help you achieve sustainable results.
Well, I'm definitely seeing that in your results, Sarah. You're glowing.
Thank you. I really do feel amazing.
You mentioned earlier that you were meticulously tracking your progress throughout those 90 days. Can you give us some more details about what you were measuring and what you observed?
Absolutely. Beyond just the scale and measuring tape, I was also tracking my blood pressure, fasting, blood sugar, and body fat percentage.
Wow, you were really going all in on this.
I wanted to be thorough. I knew that true metabolic health goes beyond just losing weight. It's about improving those underlying markers of health as well.
And what did you see?
Well, as I mentioned, I lost 11 pounds in that first month. By the end of the 90 days, I had lost a total of 27 pounds. My waist circumference went down by 4.5 inches.
That's phenomenal. Those are some serious changes.
They were. And what was even more exciting was that my blood pressure normalized, my fasting blood sugar dropped to a healthy level, and my body fat percentage decreased by over 8%.
Okay, so not only were you looking and feeling amazing, but your internal health markers were improving as well.
Exactly. And that for me was the most rewarding part. It wasn't just about fitting into my old jeans again. It was about feeling good from the inside out.
Well, Sarah, you've definitely piqued our listeners' interest.
Yeah.
I'm already seeing tons of questions popping up in the chat. But before we dive into those, I want to remind everyone about the special discount available from our sponsor, topsecretreviews.com and Echo. You can find the link in the show notes. It's a fantastic way to save some money if you're interested in trying Ikaria Lean Belly Juice for yourself. Okay, Sarah, let's talk about something that often gets overlooked in the weight loss conversation, the psychological impact. How does achieving your weight loss goals affect your confidence, your self-esteem, your overall outlook on life?
That's a great question. And honestly, it's something I've been thinking about a lot throughout this process. I think we tend to focus so much on the physical changes, the pounds lost, the inches shed, but the mental and emotional shifts are just as profound, if not more so.
Absolutely. So what have you noticed in yourself and what have you observed in your clients who have tried Ikaria Lean Belly Juice?
Well, for me personally, the biggest shift has been in my confidence. I feel more comfortable in my own skin, and I'm not afraid to put myself out there anymore.
That's amazing. It's like losing the weight has allowed your true self to shine through.
Exactly. And I've seen the same thing happen with my clients. They come in feeling defeated, discouraged, just stuck. But as they start seeing results with Ikaria Lean Belly Juice, their whole demeanor changes. They stand taller, they smile more, they just radiate this newfound confidence.
Wow, that's so inspiring. It's like Ikaria Lean Belly Juice is giving people their mojo back.
It really is. And it's not just about the physical changes, it's about feeling empowered, feeling in control of your body, and feeling like you can finally achieve your goals.
That's so powerful. It's like losing the weight is just the tip of the iceberg. The real transformation is happening on a deeper level.
Exactly. And that's why I believe that weight loss should always be approached with a holistic mindset. It's not just about shedding pounds, it's about improving your overall health and well-being both physically and mentally.
Well said, Sarah.
Yeah.
I think that's a perfect segue into the next part of our discussion. We're going to dive into the long-term sustainability of Ikaria Lean Belly Juice and hear Sarah's expert tips for maintaining your results after the initial 90 days. And we're back with Sarah Mitchell talking about Ikaria Lean Belly Juice. Sarah, you've convinced us that this isn't just another fad diet product. There's some serious science and results behind it. But what about the long game? Can people actually keep the weight off after those initial 90 days?
That's the million-dollar question, right? It's one thing to lose the weight, but keeping it off, that's the real challenge. And honestly, that's what I was most skeptical about going into this whole thing.
Totally. We've all seen those amazing before and after photos. But what about the after? What happens 6 months, a year down the line?
Exactly. And I'm happy to report that I've not only maintained my results, but I've actually continued to improve my overall health. It's been 7 months now since I started using Ikaria Lean Belly Juice.
7 months. That's amazing, Sarah.
Yeah.
And you haven't gained the weight back.
No, not at all. Actually, I've lost a few more pounds since those first 90 days, and my energy levels are consistently high. Honestly, I feel better than I have in years. But it's not just about the supplement itself. It's about the lifestyle changes I've made along the way.
That's what I was hoping you'd say. Ikaria is not a magic bullet. It's a tool to help you make those lasting changes.
Exactly. And I think that's the key to long-term success. Ikaria Lean Belly Juice kind of gave me that jump start I needed, helped me break through that weight loss plateau, and gave me the energy and motivation to keep going. But the real magic happened when I started incorporating it into a holistic approach to health.
So spill the beans, Sarah. What are your secrets? How have you managed to keep the weight off for 7 months and counting?
Okay, well, first of all, I've been using what I call a cycling approach with Ikaria. I do 5 days on 2 days off.
Interesting. Why do you do that?
It's all about preventing my body from becoming too accustomed to the supplement. By taking those 2 days off each week, I'm giving my system a chance to kind of reset and resensitize itself.
That makes sense. It's like giving our muscles rest days after a workout to prevent overuse and promote growth.
Exactly. And those 2 days off also serve as a little reminder that I'm in control. It's not about being dependent on the supplement. It's about using it as a tool to support my overall health goals.
I love that. It's about empowering yourself, not becoming reliant on something external. What else is part of your long-term strategy?
Movement is key. I aim for at least 30 minutes of moderate exercise most days in the week.
Of course. We can't forget about the power of movement.
Right. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. I like going for walks in nature, doing some yoga, or even just dancing around my living room. It's about finding activities you enjoy that you can stick with.
So true. Weight loss shouldn't feel like a chore. It should be fun.
Absolutely. Another thing I'm really diligent about is regular blood work monitoring.
You're a true scientist.
I can't help it. Knowledge is power, right?
Yeah.
Keeping tabs on my blood sugar, cholesterol, and other key markers helps me make sure I'm staying on track and catch any potential issues early on.
That's such a good point. It's so important to be proactive about our health.
Absolutely. And last but not least, I'm not afraid to adjust my Ikaria Lean Belly Juice dosage as needed.
So you don't just stick to the same dosage forever?
Nope. Our bodies change over time and our needs change too. So I listen to my body and adjust accordingly. Sometimes I might take a little more, sometimes a little less. It's all about finding what works best for me at any given time.
That's great advice. It's about taking ownership of your health and not being afraid to experiment.
Exactly. Now, beyond the specifics of Ikaria Lean Belly Juice, there are a few key lifestyle factors that have been crucial for my success long term.
Okay, I'm all ears.
First and foremost, I optimized my morning routine.
Ooh, I love a good morning routine. Tell me more.
I start each day with a big glass of water with lemon, followed by a nutrient-rich smoothie. Then I get my body moving for at least 15 minutes.
Wow, that sounds like an energizing way to start the day.
It is. It sets the tone for the whole day. And I also prioritize sleep.
Sleep is so underrated.
It really is. I aim for at least 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep every night.
And how do you manage stress? That's a big one for a lot of people.
I've incorporated mindfulness practices into my daily routine. I meditate for a few minutes each morning and try to be more present throughout the day.
That's great advice.
Ha!
It's easy to get caught up in the hustle and bustle and forget to just breathe.
I know. And finally, I make sure to stay properly hydrated throughout the day. Carry a water bottle with me everywhere.
All those little things add up. It's amazing how much impact these everyday habits can have.
They really do. And when you start making these healthy habits part of your life, it becomes less about willpower and more about just living.
I love that.
Yeah.
It's about creating a lifestyle that supports your goals.
Exactly.
Well, Sarah, you've given us so much valuable information today. I feel like I have a whole new perspective on approaching weight loss and well-being. And for our listeners who are interested in trying Ikaria Lean Belly Juice, remember our sponsor, TopSecretReviews.com, has that special discount just for you.
The link is in the show notes.
Exactly. It's a great way to see if Ikaria Lean Belly Juice could be a good fit for you.
And remember, the journey to a healthier you is a marathon, not a sprint. Be patient with yourself, celebrate your successes, and don't be afraid to ask for support along the way.
Beautifully said, Sarah. Thank you so much for joining us today on The Deep Dive.
It's been my pleasure.
And thank you to all of our listeners for diving deep with us. We'll see you next time for another fascinating exploration.